I always like the new school year. So much promise and potential. Per the student survey last year, we created a seminar for incoming freshmen on how to stand in the hallways, and I've just finished leading that. It was supposed to be over 10 minutes ago, but they were all standing in one clump in front of the door, so it took me a while to actually get into the room. I bought this new coffee pot for the staff room because the old one made the coffee taste like gym socks. And even though the district rejected my proposal to make all the hot lunches waffles and to make Harry Potter the required reading for the fourth year in a row, I'm feeling optimistic.
Allison, I just made 12,000 copies for my band, and now it's saying out of ink and out of paper and not allowed to make 12,000 copies.
The rivalry game is coming up, Edmonds Woodway versus Meadowdale. That feud goes back all the way to when the schools were first founded. Edmonds Woodway by hardworking pilgrims, I think, and Meadowdale by lame people, I guess. I don't really know why we hate each other, but now we do. Those are the rules, and now we compete for just about everything. We compete over jazz, track, who can have the weirdest, most cotton candy smelling art building, but the biggest competition by far is football. And sure, we're gonna lose by like 22,000 points. But does it really matter how many points are made in a football game? It doesn't matter how many touchdowns are made on the field. What really matters is how many touchdowns are made in our heart. Unless we somehow win the game, then it's definitely about the points on the field. Definitely. But we're not gonna win, so go Team Spirit!
Every year, the week before homecoming is a spirit week. Personally, I think we've fallen into a bit of a rut. Yes, of course, we could have another week, another day, everyone wearing the same color on the basis of a mildly related pun. But I was elected president to do more than just that. And so I present to you my proposal for the foundation of this year's Spirit Days, the Oliver Pyramid of Greatness. It is a 5-tier world-class system designed to help you navigate both life and interpersonal relationships. Each tier would be inspiration for one day. Topics include baseball, smiling, The Office, Spikeball, of course. Unfortunately, ASB rejected my proposal, and now we have Groutfit Day.
Some days, TOK is really interesting and we have debates about complicated moral truths. And other days, I say that apples taste crunchy, and Jai yells at me about eating poop.
Wait, Jai, why are you proposing eating poop? Why was that the only resolution?
Because he has to go to the extreme end for any sort of...
Jai, why could you not think of a thing that wasn't literally eating?
Because eating it drives home the point better.
Of what?
He's not wrong. That having something in your mouth in the way that feels is different than the taste of something. It's absolutely different.
Yeah, it's absolutely different and has nothing to do with consuming fecal matter.
Chemicals from the food.
No, not biologically. But
Welcome to the discussion.
This is the second year my parents have let me throw a massive Halloween party. You know, we do all the classic Halloween things, scary movies, pumpkins, candy corn, it's all out, you know? Anyway, this year we want to try and do a costume contest, and we're kind of hoping people get into it. There's best costume, worst costume, best partner's costume, best couple's costume but it's ironic because they're going to break up in a month, sexiest costume, least sexy costume, laziest costume not worn by Andrew because we know those are two separate categories, best smile, best dressed, best performance by a supporting actress in a drama, tallest, gothest, most subtle, not to be confused with laziest, and of course, costume worn by Ronnie. What? I wanted to win one.
That man honestly just told us that he would have smoked weed instead of attending if he were in high school. This is a Veterans Day assembly, and he advertised weed. Not like it really needs advertising anyways. But on the bright side, if you want to know what a Sputnik moment feels like, watch a 50-year-old drama teacher hear his speaker tell the entire class to smoke weed.
So many kids have college applications due, and they've all been such busy little beavers that they deserve lots of hugs and cuttlefishes. With all the stress, so they'd never do it on purpose, they definitely have been a little more rude and sharky than usual. But college is scary, and whether kids are studying science and narwhology or the humanities, they might need a little more penguin encouragement right now. And I know we oughter give them a break and also ought to push them towards making good decisions. I know they have a whole array of problems, but I want to help them overcome this turtle. Oh, I've been working on that all day.
Yeah, we do. We spend a lot of time trying to push our students and trying to give them what seem like normal tasks, but trying to, make it complicated for basically no reason. So in TOK, for example, we had workshopped having kids knitting, but only give them one hook. But we felt like that was a little too on the nose and kind of too obvious. So what we ended up doing after a lot of workshop and trial and error is we decided to have students work on a puzzle at 6 a.m. And what they didn't know, of course, is that I had 20 of the pieces in my desk that I had taken out just to annoy them and just to make them think like, oh, we're doing this team building project, and then watch how quickly they all kind of turned against each other. What was interesting, though, is they did actually end up turning against us, which was surprising, but it is what it is.
This next part's my favorite part, this time is shot. Gonna do the two-step and cowboy boogie. Grab a sweetheart and spin out with them. Do the hold down and get it.
Yeah, this is what I'm most proud of in my life right now.
So my family is Norwegian, which means that my people are Vikings. And yeah, the only two words of Norwegian I know are thank you and cow, but I've never felt closer to my ancestors than I do this month. I've turned in all my college applications, written a paper 3 on communism, and learned some shit on plants. I haven't slept more than 8 hours this week, total, and I feel so dead inside that if somebody asked me to loot and plunder a small village, I could do it right now.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all in the class wrapped gifts, lit menorahs, or woke up for mass. The stockings were hung by the chimneys with care, in hopes that the candy man soon would be there. The freshmen slept snugly without school year stress, while seniors stayed up on an RBIS. I'd marked up the rubrics and checked for citations for all of the folders of transcription translation. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my desk to see what was the matter. And I saw through the window a fellow most hyper, and I knew him at once as that old candy striper. He went without speaking to the stockings and stuffed those. with rainbow disaccharide, glucose, and fructose. As he skipped off, I felt a most joyous sensation. I feel when I teach photophosphorylation. And I heard him cry out in jolly delight, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
So I've decided that I'm going to retire this year. It's pretty big, but I want to be able to travel. I mean, sure, I've been to countries you've never heard of before. Laos? You don't know where Laos is? You don't know what their 3 largest exports are? See, that's why you should have been checking out more library books. I want to see the world. I want to have adventures. And besides, I'm not too concerned. If Edmonds Woodway ever gets out of hand, I always have him just a phone call away. And I still have my trusty whip.
Part of the job of the assistant principal is to investigate crime. I asked the staff here to steal something for me sometime this year so that I could hone my craft. Looks like they took the mellow airs. Hey, wait a minute. Where are my glasses? Did you guys take my glasses? Looks like they also stole my glasses. This is Jesse Goodsky, EWHSAP. I was the best AP they had. Until I was framed for a crime I didn't commit. Don't worry, Mellow Airs. I'll find you, even if I have to go all the way to New Orleans. You know, in order to think like these guys, you need to think like these guys.
Oh, John Sanchez.
Healed.
You're welcome. Anyway, me and Renate wanted to sing you a song, but you were asleep. That's
So it snowed last night, like a lot, and they canceled school. And now I have to try to fill in an entire day with activities without going insane. This is going to be so hard. How to drink a martini by fire. How to start a fire.
Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there. Beethoven, Hamlet, North Pole, other fancy words. I'm fancy.
Yeah, okay, fine. I may be going, like, I don't know, maybe a little bit insane. But honestly, what am I supposed to do with an entire day inside by myself? What am I supposed to do? school, yeah, it f***ing sucks sometimes, and you want it to already be over, and you want it to have never begun, and you want to just give up and lie down. But somehow, inevitably, whenever you feel like that, you look up, and you see a friend. And I won't say that it makes it all worth it, but it sure makes it easier.
Laugh with me, buddy, just with me, buddy. Don't let her get the best of me, buddy. Don't ever let me start feeling lonely. If I ever needed you, buddy, you know now I really do, buddy. Don't ever let me start feeling lonely. I cry at the least little thing, buddy, and I'll die if you mention her name, buddy. Talk to me, buddy, stay with me, buddy. Don't let her get away with it, buddy. Don't ever let me start feeling lonely. Let's talk about things as they were, buddy. Before I got mixed up with her, buddy. Laugh with me, buddy, just with me, buddy. Don't let her get the best of me, buddy. Don't ever let me start feeling lonely.